Okay, so what I did was so like this is like several months back, and essentially, so you have your own like Discord community that you're a part of, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm part of my own, and essentially there's some people that like they're just real they just think really weird things. So, and I basically just told like way too much like too personal information to the wrong people essentially.
Oh.
And I actually talked to the about them about my because I was talking to one of my good friends on here about like saying that I had a similar situation and I described our situation.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I definitely say I wouldn't really. I would avoid talking about that if all possible. Like,
Well, that's the thing
I
was
feel,
like
I feel like as a guy, like you're kind of digging yourself into a hole there,
yeah,
and
well
like,
that's the problem is that when I explained that story, I didn't when I initially explained it like the first time to these people, they took it the wrong way. And there's a lot of things that I said that they initially like they cast doubt on me about the situation to the point
gotcha.
where actually like quite a sum of people actually are calling me a rapist online based off of our situation even when I decide to clarify things.
That's really shitty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well that's because that obviously that's my fault because I shouldn't have I I really just told I was
You
not
probably shouldn't have brought it up.
I definitely
Yeah.
shouldn't have brought it up. So the reason why I'm recording this is because I because I was actually a friends with this other guy called Bleach Hub, and I thought he was gonna help me out in this situation like a while ago, and he was giving, and I went to him for advice about how to deal with this situation because eventually it
Gotcha.
escalated to where people were trying to make this like a court case of some kind,
Oh shit.
like that they were like they had some like authority or some shit. It's a really messed up community. And like I thought he was my friend, especially at the time, but apparently now, even though I explained it to them several times, what exactly happened, he believes like I'm a rapist now, and that really hurt me, especially now when I listened to like the recording of him
Yeah.
saying that. So basically, the reason why I'm recording this is because one of my buddies, one of my good friends on here named Noodles, like that's his username. He's actually making a video to where he is like debunking all the notions of me being a rapist and what people are
Gotcha.
taking out of context.
Yeah.
And I was telling him as like listening to the like a debate between him and Blake Chubb, the guy who believes I'm a rapist now because of
Yeah.
the situation. Like I was just like I did not I like told people and I just wanted to like I was like I knew you would probably get mad at me if I told you that I told all these people about it. And that's why I didn't initially go to you and say like bring you into it because I didn't want to bring you into
Gotcha.
drama, honestly,
Yeah.
because I really thought that was going to be a really shitty thing to do. And so essentially, the
Yeah.
reason why I'm recording this is because I basically want you to tell them that like you don't believe I'm a rapist, and
Gotcha.
like if you can kind of explain your
Yeah. Okay. Should I just like start talking, I guess?
sure, yeah,
Should I use your actual name or
just say Surfbone if you can.
just Surfton?
No, Surfbone, the one that I have her
Oh, okay,
username.
okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay. So, the situation with Surfbone, no, he's not a rapist. So, what happened was we both went to a camping trip and drank way too much. And it was a shitty situation. Don't get it twisted. But in no way is Surfbone responsible for what happened. I was the one who suggested it, He was in no way the initiator there. So, yeah, we've talked it out and everything's okay. So, it's really no one else's business to get involved here.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That I really wanted to make sure I get like a genuine thing as well
Yeah.
in that part, because that's what I told the people exactly that
No,
I
yeah, I get it. And
and
it's
that
hard to believe someone without a
well,
backup
yeah,
statement, especially
because
from the other person.
so some of the things that they disbelieved about the whole so I did like somewhat go into detail about like obviously until the point where we actually did something, like I
Yeah.
basically described things that occurred before and afterwards. And
Yeah.
one of the things I described was that although I drank a lot, and you can vouch that I did drink a lot at the time,
Yeah.
that I pointed out how I actually remembered quite a bit from that
Yeah.
situation, and
I
you
mean,
didn't.
that's one of the things that I'm glad I do remember about the situation is even though my memory is hazy, I strictly remember before it happened in the confirmation and me suggesting it. Like I know for a fact that I was the one that suggested it. It wasn't Surfbone at all. It was me.
Yeah, and I even like told people that like even in like a drunken up state, especially in that instance, that I would never want to be the one who suggested it because I did not want to have like a situation
Yeah,
where
and
I was the
knowing
one.
knowing Surfbone for the more
Yeah,
like this for the last 9 months, I can confirm he's not that kind of guy.
yeah. Because yeah, one of the because they were taking the part where they say like, well, you remembered something, then you probably weren't that drunk. And that was one of the points that they latched onto.
I think anyone that saw you with your hangover and the throwing up the next morning can say you were pretty
Yeah,
fucking drunk.
yeah, it was really bad.
It
Um,
was.
yeah. So the other thing that they were basically taking out of context was, so I basically said I remembered a lot more than you did, and then they started misconstruing it and saying that I said that you blacked out,
Oh,
you
gotcha.
or that you were blacked out
I don't.
drunk.
I don't think I ever blacked out, but I'm sure I did with the mattress thing because I don't remember at all.
Yeah. Well, because like you, it's like basically they are trying to say like, oh, she doesn't remember anything, and it's like, but no,
No.
you've
I. I.
told me
I.
many times that you remember certain things, you just don't remember all of it. And it's clear that you just like you obviously remember like stuff that occurred before things went forward after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know if you want to include this in there, but
Mm-hmm.
the point when I got upset because I started kind of remembering stuff after I
Mm-hmm.
initiated. Like you were totally okay with stopping. Like you didn't like encourage me to keep going or anything. Like you were fully okay with like you didn't want to keep
Oh
going.
yeah, yeah. I was actually scared at that point. To be fair, because I'm like, oh shit, I fucked up somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What was the other thing? Because those were the two main points. Oh yeah, one of actually, I don't know if I want to talk about that. It's entirely. I mean, I could probably just cut out of the recording, but essentially, one of the things that they kept saying that like they kept putting words in my mouth and that saying like I cream pied you,
Oh.
and I need, even though I specifically remember I pulled out before that would happen because that was something else I was like scared of happening as well at the time.
Oh. Yeah. I honestly don't remember
Mm-hmm.
that much of it.
Yeah,
But
and it's just like I was telling these people, especially it's like that is like that they started taking out of context was the fact that you said if you weren't drunk that you wouldn't have done
oh.
anything, and it's like yes, she did say that like she wouldn't have done anything if she wasn't drunk, but you said you don't regret that situation happening at all. That's what I was telling them.
Yeah. Like not like that.
Yeah, no. and the, and the thing was especially was because I went to Bleach Hub initially because I didn't know who else to go to for advice about this situation. And now they were basically accusing me of knowing that this would be in fact rape in a sense. And I was basically assuming that because I had no, cuz like I'm not like knowledgeable on rape laws, and I'm not sure what would be considered certain things.
I mean, from when like back when I talked to my friends, it probably would, just because of allegations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be only if I press charges, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
'Cause, like I said, like I know I'm the initiator. Like that makes no
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
I'm not that much of an asshole. Um,
Yeah. I totally understand that. Yeah. Again, I really apologize that this was something that like I have to do, that I have to like fucking record you saying
no,
that this
okay.
didn't happen and shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to make sure I get cover
All your
everything
points.
here.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
got you.
So, yeah, cuz you basically agree that I did not rape you. You
Yeah.
and that essentially you don't regret that situation happening.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cuz again, this cuz Doodles basically showed me the recording just like an hour ago
Yeah.
about him just like basically defending me all this shit.
Gotcha.
Because he like went up and like debated him like the entire time, when it was obviously getting a little heated because he was just being a total asshole. And
Gotcha.
because one of the things I
I
would
mean,
do.
I'm sure it's out of good intention and trying to protect a girl he's never met and making
Yeah.
sure trying to keep people in check. Like I'm sure it comes from a place of like good intention, but there's also so much like context that's mixed, especially if you don't talk to the actual person. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
um,
Eventually, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to tell her that this whole shit happened, and
yeah,
like, if if that like involves me getting yelled at, I'm willing to take that. Like, I'm gonna have to bite down on that bullet because
yeah.
because I'm like, this
I
has gone
mean,
too far, and I need to have her actually say
yeah.
like
I mean,
I didn't
if
get raped,
anyone actually got like
because there's now like
I
this
think
little
you fully recognize that you you kind of screwed up in the situation. Like
yeah.
especially how things are right now, guys are very quick to be jumped on for like allegations like this.
Yeah.
So, like,
And especially
I'm
when
guessing
this like
you've learned your lesson
yeah,
just as far
because
as
like
don't talk to
initially
people.
like they took that situation, and I'm pretty much part of a community where there's just like some toxic like sections where there's like this group of people that will just latch on to like, if they have the ability to accuse somebody of doing something terrible, like even if it may not be 100% like concrete, then they will just make it a situation because they are drama whores and they just
Oh,
seek
gotcha.
attention. And basically that's what happened. It's like these three, like one of the guys was a fucking like 13, 14-year old little kid, and his whole and he's like just basically known for wanting to start drama and having all of attention like drawn to himself.
Gotcha.
And they were just like made this whole like court case situation, and they had me as the fucking on the victim stand,
Oh,
and they were just like pressuring me, and they basically were trying to like say like, well, if you it's either basically gave me an ultimatum that you either admit that you lied, that the entire situation didn't happen and you were just trying to impress people and call, or you admit to being a rapist. Like, apparently there was no gray area.
gotcha.
And
Yeah, that was like the whole thing is it's like it really was like a gray area situation.
the thing was is like, I didn't know how like what like what they were capable of doing at the time, because they were also trying to say like if you like don't confess like to any of those things, then we're just gonna start like, they're gonna go to Discord and they're gonna press charges, like they're gonna like basically like yeah, report me to Discord and shit. And I didn't know if they were if that was able going to be able to do anything, even when they had no evidence other than what I've told them and what the situation was.
Yeah.
So, but obviously later on, I'm like, oh wait, even if they try to, they have absolutely nothing, and even then, Discord at this point, you can be literally have like DMs of pedophiles, of like just like blatant like evidence of pedophilia, and like people wanting to like groom children on Discord, and Discord would not give a shit. It's like it's really bad.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, again, the only things that they were able to incriminate me on were basically what I've said and
Yeah.
nothing else. So I felt like this was definitely necessary, and I needed to get freaking OBS and all this stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna stop recording here.